Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome, everybody, to the glorious episode of the Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and I am podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle, so you can reach me there. I want to thank everybody who's watching the show and listening to the show out there in Louisville, Kentucky. We got some people living watching out there after what USC did. Los Angeles, California. Also got we got Oakland, California. We also got San Jose, California. We got Hartford, Connecticut in there. We got British Columbia listening and watching to the Student Body Right USC podcast. And we got let me get one more city in here. We got Jacksonville, Florida, listening to the Student Body Right USC podcast. You know, we got Trojans over everywhere. Our Trojan family is pretty deep around the world, around the country. So thank you for listening and watching the show. I want to thank you guys, first of all. As you've been watching the show, I got an opportunity to get press credentials for the Holiday Bowl, USC, Louisville, and it's because of y'all. It's because of your support for the show that I was able to get that. If I had one viewer or one subscription, they would have said denied. But I was able to secure that, and it was a really great experience. And as the weeks go on, I'll talk about that experience and kind of show you some pictures and some behind the scenes stuff from the Holiday Bowl. But let's just jump right into it. And I think the one thing, because a lot of people didn't pick USC to win this game. I didn't pick USC to win this game. A lot of podcasters and a lot of college football people didn't pick them to win this game, and rightfully so. They did not play well this season at all. There was that situation where it was like, who is Miller Moss? What is Miller Moss? I don't know what people thought were going into this game, but obviously he had enough confidence to go out there and do what he did. Kind of an outstanding game by him. But I think the one thing that I wanted to kind of talk about, because I was in the press conference after the game, and they all talked about that this period where the Trojans was almost like a mini camp. They had 6 weeks of not having a game, and I think they came together as a team. You saw Elijah Page, you saw this offensive line. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but you saw the team really come together. And I think it was an opportunity here for Lincoln Riley to kind of just regroup and just kind of wash the stench of the season off of him, and go out there and do what he needed to do as a head coach, and show that he is a dominant play caller, to show that he can, that this team isn't a bunch of quitters, showing that this team can come out there and win a big game and win a bowl game. Like, I know people still think bowl games are that important, but this is the first bowl game that USC has won since 2016. So, and it's 2023. So it's been a long time since they won a bowl game. So good for them in that process, winning a bowl game, because it was really important for them to win a bowl game. And I think if you're looking Riley, you can't just keep losing bowl games. Like, you got to start winning some bowl games. He wasn't brought here to lose bowl games. Wasn't brought here to lose, period. And at the season was like, listen, 7-5. They're going into this game. They did not play really good football, but I thought it showed that Lincoln Riley has a grasp on this football team, that he really does know what he's doing with this football team, that his team doesn't quit for him. They played hard for him. They did all the things that you would want, you would think that a Lincoln Riley team would do, and they scored almost at will in this game. I mean, they really could have won this game and put up 50 in this ball game. And I think also what it kind of shows is, some of the casuals on the internet will say, we'll try to get your goat as a USC fan and say, well, when Caleb's gone, so go the points, so go the big plays, so go all these things. But let's just be real. When Lincoln Riley, his offense has never been about the quarterback, to the sense where if he doesn't get this type of guy, they can't score points. What you're seeing here is his playbook is designed to help proficient passers who want to get the ball out of their hands quickly. If you do those things, you're going to get big plays. You're going to make big plays. And I think that's the thing that I thought was really cool about him, about Miller Moss, was like his ability to get the ball out quickly. And this offense, let's be honest, like this coordinator has plays for days. He has plays for days, no question about it. No question about that. That Lincoln Riley is one of the best play callers in the league in all college football. We just have to have the question of the defense has to get better. And I think if they played spirited football this week, but I do think there's some promising signs for the defense coming up as well before the season starts. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but I do want to give props to Coach Riley because I feel like he really did a great job in this ballgame, preparing his team. They had every reason to have a no-show. You had all these seniors come through and play in this game. Guys who opted for the NFL, declared to the NFL, come back and play in these ball games. That says a whole lot, right? You got these guys who were in the ball game, who are making diving plays, leaping catches, who are going to the National Football League, and they didn't have a problem with playing in this game because it meant something for them. It meant something for USC. So good job by them. Miller Moss, 6 touchdown passes. There was a section of the press box where it was Louisville people and they were talking a lot of, trash about about USC, and especially after that first drive. And they thought it was just over. They thought it was done. And the fact that USC bounced back after a near interception early in that game, after a missed field goal by Lynch, and they came back and just still scored. I mean, they could have really scored 50 points in this game easy. And Miller Moss was just on point, on fire all day. And he just was sometimes these quarterbacks, you talk about having that slow heartbeat, right? They can, no matter what's going on around them, they can still perform at a high level. And he was able to do that. And I think that was something that was really cool to see. Really cool to see that he was able to get those, get everybody where they need to be, get a lot of people involved. A lot of players were involved in this offensive barrage by USC. What did they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different receivers. And, those guys all got involved. They all had critical third down. USC didn't really run the ball at all this game. They really relied on Miller Moss to make big plays, and he made big play after big play. I think the touchdown pass, the first one to Jacoby Lane, where he was in the pocket, he felt a little pressure from the back. He stepped up in the pocket, moved to his right. A defender was clearly coming right at him, and then he threw the ball down the field for a touchdown. I thought that was really that's quarterback one-on-one. Step up in the pocket, make people miss, be functionally mobile in that moment, and he made a big play down the field, and USC was able to score a touchdown. They did a good job of avoiding Louisville's really good red zone defense by kind of attacking it before they even got to the red zone. They were 2 touchdown passes, of 30 for 30 yards, 40 yards, all that stuff like that. Like they were just trying to get scores without having to deal with that defense in the red zone. Really good job with that in this ball game. And I just spreading the ball around and getting Lane involved. I mean, being on the field and standing next to Jacoby Lane. Jacoby Lane is a 6'4", 6'5" is. I mean, he's just a monster. I mean, he's huge. So is Deuce Robinson. He had a drop in that game early that cost USC, but he had a great touchdown on the slant and go touchdown pass, and that was probably his best touchdown of the game. Miller Moss catching Deuce Robinson on that go route, so good job by him. And I just want to give kudos also to this offensive line. The offensive line was spectacular in this game. I mean, they on his dropbacks, He was clean, 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 clean all day and all night. I would say, he had 33 attempts. I mean, they were just they did a great job of protecting him. I think the whole thing in this game was to go out here and just, and pass the football, because they weren't really going to get a lot of running yards against the way the offensive line was in flux. They couldn't run the ball the way they wanted to in this ball game, but they were able to pass it proficiently, pass it at a high level. And a lot of these third downs that they faced in this ball game were third and 8, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 10s, and they were still able to find plays for these receivers to make, and for these receivers to make big plays on third down. And those are the money downs. Those are the downs that you really want to see your guys perform at a high level with, and they were able to do that. And I got to give them a lot of credit for that game, and the way they played. It wasn't the USC no show. The UCLA no show game. They really played out hard in this ball game. And listen. They gave a bunch of rushing yards. This wasn't a great defensive performance, but they fought during this game. I think I'm looking at the third down efficiency. There were 6 of 10, 1 for 1 on 4th down. But I would say, like, for me, they really did a good job, throughout the ball game of just tackling, forcing turnovers. Anthony Beaver's peanut punch at the end of the game was just phenomenal. So I mean, he just ripped that ball right out of the receiver's hand, punched it right out, and that kind of ended the game. And they got turnovers in this ball game. I mean, they got turnovers in this ball game. They won the game. They won a turnover battle in this ball game, and they were able to just kind of break the will of Louisville as the game went on. And I think Louisville thought they were going to come in and just kind of push USC a little bit, push USC over. They weren't able to do that in this ball game. USC did a fantastic job of taking it right to them and just hitting big play after big play after big play. That was huge. I mean, that was one of the biggest things in this game, is keep hitting those big plays. They did a great job hitting big plays all day and all night. And that was the difference in the ball game. And I think when you have a 21 point second quarter, you're getting stops, you're getting short fields. Shout out to Kyler Hudson, who was fantastic in this ball game, and had a block punt and then scored a touchdown on that play, which was really cool. And I think Mekhi Lemon too he's a little pain in the ass. He's gonna be a target because he is out there blocking. I mean, I think receivers, you can watch. When you see receivers play, right, you almost want to see what they do when they don't have the football. And he wasn't making any business decisions. He was out there blocking his tail off in this ball game, and I got to give him a lot of credit for that. He was just phenomenal, and some of his catches, some of the catches by Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon were just just seeing all the people on the X or Twitter tweeting out those emojis of lemons after he kept on making catch after catch after catch in this ball game. But they do have a lot of weapons, and and special teams came through when they needed it at times. And I thought Zachariah Branch came so close to breaking one in this ball game. But they really, I mean, they give 28 points. I mean, this is pretty much where I thought it was. I thought they would lose the game 27-24. They ended up winning the game because they gave up 28 points. And I felt like this team from Louisville wasn't going to be gangbusters all over. I didn't think they would win the game by 2 scores. I thought they would win a game closely. If they did do that, I thought they would win the game. I thought if they did beat USC, I thought they'd win the game close. With that being said, I thought USC did a good job of really taking it to them in this ball game, making the big plays. And shout out to Riley for regrouping. Shout out to Miller Moss. Shout out to the young receivers who came through in a big way. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next year. But I do think this is what it is like when USC gets something going. listen, not a great performance all year by them, but the taste is a little bit. You can swallow what happened a little bit better if you win this game the way they did. I mean, they really dominated. Fun times, fun game to watch. Being on the field while watching these guys play was just phenomenal. And the exuberance, the joy they played with was really something that I thought was really cool to see from a USC football team as well. Offensive line, that listen, I thought breakdown was great. I thought Elijah Page, who started at left tackle, did a phenomenal job in this ball game. Great footwork, great reach, great punch at the point of attack when the defensive lineman was coming right at him. He did a really good job there. USC phenomenal performance in this ball game, and for the future, we'll see what else happens. I kind of wish we could have saw a little bit more Quentin Joyner or Myron Peterson, but they really needed Austin Jones, a veteran presence there, of course, to kind of do his thing and be good in pass pro and make sure everything was headed in the right direction as far as that goes. But like I said, Beavers, Max Williams, Jacoby Prophet Brown played well in this ball game. Had a really bad pass interference call that went against them. It really wasn't pass interference. I was saying I was right there. And then the pass interference was on third down. I think it was third down or fourth down. He had that play call, but for the most part, they did a great job. Phenomenal job by USC. Kind of an instant reaction to their 42-28 victory in the Holiday Bowl out here in San Diego. Great job by the Trojans. And as they continue to kind of rebuild this program into what they want it to be. So there's some trouble spots we know about. We'll talk about that. But for 24 hours, shout out to the Trojans and the Trojan family, all the Trojan folks who showed up. I thought Bryson Shaw played well too. I want to give him props as well. He's been kind of a whipping boy, but for USC all year. But I think with Bryson Shaw too was like a player like that, like you're putting him in bad situations. I think Coach Grinch put him in bad situations for the whole year. Now he's put him in really good situations, and they really did a good job of passing off these routes and coming up and tackling. I mean, they just really tackled much better in this game. So in Eric Gentry and Mason Cobb, all those guys, shout out to them as well too. But we're gonna say we have more to come, but I did want to get the instant reaction show out, and then we'll talk about some more stuff during the week, during the weekend about this game and the future for the USC Trojans as they get ready for the offseason. And it's be interesting to see. I mean, is Will Howard really coming now? Like that's the question. Does he feel like when he watches the tape, when he's sitting there and watching the tape with his offensive coaches, is what we saw this week foreshadowing for the future for Miller Moss, or is it fool's gold on a one game situation? We'll have to see what USC does as the transfer portal is closing soon. So we'll see what happens coming up for the Trojans here on the Student Body Right USC podcast. Take care, folks. We'll see you next time.